Hey everyone, it's Valerie Frost, and we are back with Behind the Insight.
Realizing somewhat early on that there was so much harm being done by bias, by bureaucracy, and really by this systemic dysfunction.
So I just love that Dr. Price can just start with that as a foundation. There is so much harm being done. I do not understand when systems adjacent people are so defensive against advocacy, because I'm like, what are you defending? Like, we all know the system's not working, right?
Workers like myself and other caseworkers in the book, but I also wanted to bring in the people that were on our caseloads and Black women who were navigating the CPS quandary.
So I was sitting in a meeting once with a state leader, and they were like, lived experience, yeah, nothing about us without us. I'm all about it. That's why I asked the people who implement the program for their feedback and opinions. I was like, wait, I don't think that's like, okay, we have like the proximity map, like shout out to the Collective Impact Forum here, but like we have the proximity map, like the directly impacted people are the end users, like, right? Like not the program administrators. So thank you, Dr. Price, for acknowledging that the caseworkers have some lived experience on the ground, but there is like a little bit closer.
Spending time with the mothers in this book, it changed how I viewed lived experience, right? It's not just a valuable part of our work. It can truly change how you see the system. And these people have valuable insight into what we need to change in the system. And they deserve to be a part of the co-creation of what we're trying to rebuild.
They deserve to be part of the co-creation of what we are trying to build. Thank you, Dr. Price, for saying that. We can't keep silencing new voices in the name of protecting old reputations. If we don't start calling this out, even when it's happening in our own communities, we will not move forward. We're just repainting the same walls and calling it progress.
But one thing that I wanted to make sure I did was I asked her questions about, when did you first want to be a mom? Like, I wanted to get to know her. I wanted to get to know who she was before she even became a mother, right? So that was my own reckoning with this is more.
I love that. I love that because I'm thinking about the times that I had CPS involvement and nobody cared. Nobody. I'm saying that like with full confidence. Nobody cared about me. They did not want to know anything about me. They did. They wanted to know what they could use against me. And people can get defensive if they want to about that. I was there. Very intentionally dismissed anything good about me, even if it came from a professional. Very intentionally dismissed it, minimized it, or said, I don't believe that. Higher credentialed professionals even.
But this framework is really built on my own developmental journey. And as you said, it starts with this idea of being an agent of the state, where I often describe it as being somewhat robotic. We're just sticking to what we see in the policy and we're almost dehumanized.
I was in this mixed stakeholder meeting and it was like half the room was child welfare agency people and like half the room was people with lived experience. And then we did this personality quiz or something. It was an icebreaker that grouped you into a color. And I remember making a joke about it, but I can't remember what the joke was. Predominantly in the room was one color. So it's the True Colors personality test. And the predominant color in the room was gold. So gold are loyal. They're not going to question anything. These people are going to do what they're told. Loyal, structured, traditional. The traditional child welfare system is rife with issues. Traditional, they value rules and traditions. So let me decode that for you. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. If you are gold, you like the bureaucracy. Now, I don't remember which one exactly. I was maybe like half blue, half green, something like that. Green is analytical and intellectual, and blue is empathetic and compassionate. So I'm in the room and I'm like, oh no, something's wrong with me because everyone's a gold. And like, I thought, well, these are all social worker people. So gold must be like empathetic and all. That's what I really thought. And I felt really bad. And then come to find out, oh, you guys are the hall monitors. Well, go on then, take it. And if you get the agent color, you need to go through this, like this, your next step is to schedule a consultation with Dr. Price. I was probably green. Green, it says innovative, curious, not an agent. Curious, innovative, enjoys problem solving. Yeah. I'm here to fix the problems of your structures that you all are clinging to so badly.
And then I push people towards the framework around this assimilationist mindset, more of an advocate, where we have this nebulous set of standards in our mind that we want families to reach. And we don't always know why we want them to reach it, except that this is the goalpost for all of these families. So we really have this savior mentality, and we want them to reach these standards.
Let me tell y'all, the advocates are dangerous. That's just me. That's me and Valerie Frost's opinion. The agents are one thing, you know, they're just not much thought is going into it. They're just doing a job, whatever. It's the advocate. So there's a quote I read or an article or something that said the most dangerous kind of alcoholic is the one who doesn't know that they're an alcoholic or won't admit it. That's, to me, is like an advocate. It's like someone with the savior mentality who is like so convinced that they are doing good and they can't hear, but they still don't see you. They're still othering you. They're still being really paternalistic because they think they know what's best for you.
When I push people toward that next phase, the questions are different now. The questions are to the system. And when I say to the system, I mean to our leaders, to our supervisors, to the folks that are telling us what to do, right? And now you're asking your supervisor, why are we putting this mom through that? Right? Now you're asking the director of your program, have we thought about different ways to support this mom? Your questions are not to yourself anymore. Now you're pushing back against the power of...
I just want to say though, Dr. Price, can we have another conversation? After doing this whole podcast, I'm like, wait, we really glossed over this a little bit. Like, what happens when someone goes to their supervisor or, you know, region director or whatever, whoever's in charge, and is like, hey, why are we making mom do this? And they're like, don't ask questions. Like, you know, what happens when they just get like, do what you're told? And, you know, I feel like when we discussed it, it kind of sounded a little like rainbows. Like, you know, the worker's going to come up and be like, hey, why are we doing this? And the person's going to be like, hey, I never thought about that. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Let's not do it.
Of this system. And I think those questions start to really push you toward that justice-centered activism.
All right, so let's talk about the finish line here. Since you had an epiphany, which is where we hope everyone would get to, and hopefully through the coaching and support and those who are listening. You've said that being challenged open your eyes to how easily we can invalidate others. So I think people that are going through this coaching process are not there yet. You know, you talk about the pushing down. Maybe questions were, you know, people have intuition, they have a soul. So the soul might be speaking to them, they're not hearing it. And so at that stage, you're invalidating, especially the families that you are serving. So with your epiphany, so how has that experience changed how you... I think my question is if families are invalid to you, what do you view your role as? Like what is your work? I don't understand. Because I want to think that, unless I'm wrong, like that CPS people don't actually view themselves as the family police. So if you don't view yourself as the family police and you actually view yourself as, I guess that's the question. Do you view yourself as helping families and communities, or do you view yourself as solely being responsible for a child being protected? Have we asked people this? Like, how, because I think as like broad wholes, right? Like the Like if we look at the Thriving Family Safer Children movement, it's, we want to move from child protection to family well-being. I think we made an assumption that everybody wants that. Are there people that don't want that? Like, have we asked every single child welfare agency, every single child welfare director, every single child welfare, like, are there people who are like, I don't actually want to work for an agency that's helping family well-being or communities. I only want to work for something that is protecting kids and that's it? I think that's a really important question to answer, actually, because then, like, why are we coaching you through this agent advocate activist thing if families aren't valid to you? Like, what is the point? Dr. Price, can you come back? I have so many more questions.
Her chance, these kids deserve better. One thing about being in that agent mindset is it's void of hope. You've lost hope in that person to really take control over their life and reach a level of healing and restoration.
I think this goes back to my question once again, though. If you actually want to work for CPS because you fundamentally think that children need to be protected, then do you have hope for parents anyway? No, you obviously don't, because your mindset is that there are parents who are bad people who are hurting kids. So you wouldn't have hope anyway. So I think that we need to answer that question. Are you doing this to protect children or to serve families and communities? Those are two different things. And do you want to work for child protection or do you want to work for family well-being? I think everyone in this space should answer that question. Do you want child protection or family well-being? That's it.
That's so funny that you use the word partner, because I wrote that down while you were talking, that what I'm hearing from this agent advocate activist is passive prescriptive partner.
Dr. Price, you can have that. Passive prescriptive partner. Write that down. Put that in your next slide deck. I'm just kidding, but you can use it if you want. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you again, Dr. Price. I would love to have a follow-up. Seriously, like, we could definitely do at least one more episode. There's so much here. And if you have power, you need to recognize your power. And I am telling you, the test of your power is, what do you have at stake? If you can clock out at 5 p.m. of child and family well-being, you have power. And child and family well-being is not child welfare. So child and family well-being is any extended arm, law enforcement, teaching, anything you're serving, childcare, any direct service. You are a touch point for families and children. If you can clock out of your touch point to families and children in your role, you have power. Please come to terms with that. Please understand that when you have someone with you who has everything to lose, who is in front of you, be mindful of that and stop judging them and wanting to control this assimilation thing. That even if you think you're good, you still have so many expectations. I have seen so many people in this assimilation mindset who will tell you about your behavior while they are not doing what they are telling you to do, because they think that they're better than you, right? This episode to me is like foundation to this work. It is, if we don't get past this, and I think that's the question, are you a child protection person or are you a family well-being person? And, I don't want to be othering either, but we need to answer this, because this is the family well-being movement. Are you part of the movement or not? And at this point now, I'm like, you know what? We're 5 years in. We're 5 years into the family well-being movement. So if you're not in now, then like get left behind. I don't know. I know the world that I want to see. I know what I want for my family. I know what I want for community. Do you want the same?